I'm working on a cabinet and I can tell that it's probably been in a garage. A lot of the stuff on the shelf is greasy, and so I'm actually using some WD-40. So here's how the WD-40 is working. It's working very well. This is a little bit thicker. I'm probably not going to be able to get it off. You can see at some point this has been green, and there's some wood. You got to use some muscle, and you got to use some a bunch of rags, or at least keep flipping your rag. So that's why I save t-shirts and towels and anything. So I made it a little bit further over to the shelf. So this is the area that I was working on a minute ago, and then now you can see that there's more green where they didn't even paint red. Interesting. So it's always interesting to see what you uncover, and then I don't know if you can make it out, but you can see where different containers have been sitting over the years, which is always neat. Okay, so I finished wiping down the shelves with the WD-40, and doing that I discovered that, hey, this shelf is black, and it also has different supports. So there's one there, and there's a wood one there, so they look like they've been added later. This looks like it was the original shelf support, and all of these shelves are painted underneath. So hopefully you can see that. They're all red underneath. So I would say that they did that because this cabinet would have been a top part of a cabinet, so they probably had to cut it out to move it out of a basement or separate it for some reason. The decision becomes, should I take this shelf out, take out the side supports that they added, flip it over and put it where it originally was, and then this top one, I would remove it and I would just not even use this shelf. This shelf has a good chip here, and they've also put a screw here to jerry-rig the part that closes it. So originally it was down here on this shelf, but that would have been when it was sitting on a cabinet. It would have been, you know, high up to reach, and so this would have been a good height. But now that it's sitting on the ground, I would say that they moved the clip up here. So this is the clip that would attach to that piece on the shelf and keep the cabinet door closed. So it's up high, but you can see down here where the screw holes would have been when it was lower. So the question becomes, should I leave it or should I mess with it and take a shelf out? So what I'm kind of thinking is, if I take the shelf out, it'll actually be more functional depending on what someone would use. And I say that because in the shop, I a lot of times like to have a shelf that is at least 12 inches so that I can display things on it. Because if it's narrower, like this top one is not very big at all, it's hard to put stuff in there. It's hard to put stuff in there for display. But at the same time, when I bought this piece, I was just thinking I was going to clean it, seal it, and be done with it. So I didn't necessarily budget the time or energy and possibly paying somebody to help me, because it never fails that I get into doing something like this and then something breaks or goes wrong, or I make it worse instead of better. So I need your help. DM me. Should I remove the shelf and put it back to where it originally was, or should I just leave it as it is, have one black shelf, the rest red? And I actually learned that on accident because I was trying to clean a piece, and it had a bunch of sticky adhesive stuff on it, and so I used it to clean the top, and I just figured that it looked like this because it was wet, and then it stayed like that. And so it was a pleasant surprise. I think it looks nice.